It's Criminal here. In this one I want to talk about the two biggest gameplay issues about this game that have been a problem with it since day one and are still a problem today, mainly in the form of Tanya. And these problems have existed before Tanya even was recognized as a top tier. When Baraka and Raiden were ruling the game, like in first months essentially, the top three was Baraka, Raiden, Johnny. And back then this problem still existed. At least one of them, but the second problem has been in the game since launch with Kung Lao, and it's now here again with Tanya, who's just abusing it and is a top 3 character just because of that. So yeah, the first problem I want to talk about is safe armor. With Goro, armor with Tanya, it's completely risk-free, it does a lot of chip damage as well. Let's go over what this armor does. Right off the bat. This armor, by itself, does 6% chip damage. When you use Goro as a cameo, it is also plus on block. So it has 0 risk and it's also plus on block. You just do it like this, they try and interrupt, they get smacked by a Goro, they take extra 6% damage, and there's nothing they can do about this. When it's timed well, I am plus, as you can see. He's doing a standing one as a reversal, as fast as possible. And I'm doing a move at the same amount of frames, and he can't interrupt me. So I've got an armor that does 6% damage, that does 60 damage on block, 6% chip damage essentially. A lot of chip for any special, especially for an armor, which is completely risk-free due to the cameo. It's actually plus, so I can use this at any time against any character to just escape block pressure. Like, there's the slightest gap in their string, they're trying to like do footsies or whatever. I just random armor with this character because it also advances forward. I armor randomly and I have Goro to stay safe and keep it plus. So I steal back my turn for 1 bar while also doing chip damage, and now I'm plus and you have to deal with my mix-ups, which are extremely good because she's got ridiculous staggers. Tanya's staggers are ridiculous, best staggers in the game because of this string. This is a guy that breaks armor. Yeah, there's just not much you can do against the stagger game. It's very tough to deal with. This string is in general is just broken as shit. It's a mid with the most range ever and it's unreactable, so yeah, stupid. But this armor becomes so broken because this character also has a counter. This character already has insane defensive abilities with a ridiculous range, good anti-air in game. With this button that is an insane anti-air. Like, with this mid, it just does everything you could possibly want for the string in this game. It's the best string in the game. She has so many broken tools, and you just toss this shit on top. And this does everything you could possibly want. So yeah, we've got armor that is completely risk-free. This armor is... It's taking back priority. It does a shit ton of chip damage. The highest amount of damage on block you can do with a special in this game, which is 60 damage, 6%. No special does that much damage on block. No one. That's the most damage you can do with a special in this game on block. It is also plus on block. It can be done at any time when your opponent is on the offensive and when it's their turn to attack. And also, the straw that broke the camera's back, this starts combos as well. And it also leads to some damn good damage. So this is also a combo starter on top of everything, so... Pretty much, there's zeros to doing this. It does damage, you're back to neutral, you steal your turn back. Now I've got Oki, instead of my opponent having Oki. So it does everything you could possibly want a move to do in this game. It's a combo starter, it's a combo extender, it is an armored move, it is safe on block, it is plus on block, it reverses the priority, so it just does everything a move can possibly do. And the fact that this is tied to an armor is just beyond broken. Armor in this game, most armors can't be kept safe by cameos, at least a wake up or reversal. Some armors can, and these armors are the ones with multiple hits. Tanya's armor is a 4 hitting move that has no gap in the middle. So there is nothing you can do about this. She can just toss it at any time and there's nothing you can do. And this is differently from Kung Lao, where you can try and make a godlike read and like jump over him, dodge him in some way to like dodge the armor and then punish him. Against Tanya you can't do that. It's actually impossible. Even if she misses, it advances forward so much it's back to full screen. So there is no way to punish this. The only way you can punish this is like jump over with Giras and then use the snap. And this shit is so situational it might as well not exist. So yeah, this armor just completely risk-free, and there's another armor just like this, which is Kung Lao. Both of these armor have been a stain on the game since the launch. Like, armor being safe is just beyond stupid. I don't need to talk about this too much. I feel like we've all, at this point, we've all felt the pain of this on our flesh, you could say. Like, everybody has been struggling against this shit, because it's just, there's not much you can do against people throwing out an option that has zero counterplay. There is no counterplay to just throwing out random armor with Tanya, which is why she's a top tier character. There's no counterplay to that. And yeah, the problem now is that Tanya is not the only one with this, and Kung Lao is not the only one with this. Now you've got characters like Kitana, who also has this bullshit with Pharah, and pretty much any armor in this game that leaves the ground is now safe on block because of Pharah. And yeah, this is a massive issue. I only have Tanya because she's the most prominent example of a top tier having and abusing this, but this is a massive issue. Armor, as it's supposed to work, armor is supposed to be an option to just escape pressure. If you use armor and your opponent guesses you're gonna use armor, you should die. That is how it's supposed to work. So yeah, I guess it's gonna armor. I guess it's right. I guess right is minus. I punch him in the face. Full combo for me. Optimal starter. And now we're supposed to deal with my Oki again. That is how it's supposed to work. That's how every character plays. All the characters in this game in a vacuum, besides Kung Lao, will get punished for armor. If you take cameos out of the equation, every character except for Kung Lao was just flawed by himself because his armor is actually safe on block. Every character will get punished for doing armor and getting blocked for it. So there's no reason why in this game certain characters with cameo synergy can make armor plus and start combos. So yeah, it just makes no fucking sense. Which is another problem with the armor. Armor shouldn't start combos. Armor is supposed to be a way to get out of jail. If you're getting pressured, stun locked by a character like Johnny with broken pressure, you should be doing this armor as a way to escape, but it shouldn't give you Oki. This is so overtuned because you've got an option that's already very easy to keep safe with many cameos, and just the most broken thing about this is that all of these armors with cameos, almost every armor in the game starts combos. Pretty much every armor in the game can start combos, and that is so stupid. That is actually so ridiculous because it just reversed the priority. You're not even back to neutral. If I do this shit, which has zero counterplay, I am back to neutral, and I still back my turn. I'm not only back to neutral, I still back my turn. I am now plus. I am now the one with Oki. You need to block me, no, not the opposite. So it's completely stupid. It's so overtuned. That's why it's so easy to abuse this. And the final issue is just special moves, just like Tanya's kicks, that have a lot of block pressure. They have a lot of block stun. These moves, after pokes, are beyond broken. The fact that you can special cancel pokes in this game makes for one of the most annoying things ever in this game, which is if your name is not Johnny Cage, you don't have true pressure. Nobody has true pressure because a crouching animation begins frame 1 in this game, which means any button whatsoever that is not +6 at least, you can down 1. Not even +6. You need a button that is +7 so that your opponent can poke mash to get out of your pressure. If your button is anything except for +6, for +7, and you don't have a mid that's faster than 13 frames, your opponent can crouch under your attacks and beat you. And just to show it, like, Johnny is a great example on how to deal with that, because Johnny is immune to this. Because Johnny has the best mid in the game, which is 9 frames. That is a 9 frame mid. He doesn't care about poke mashing, because Johnny is very plus on most of his buttons, and it will just jail into this. But most characters don't have that luxury. So essentially what happens is, I can throw out a very plus move. Say this. My opponent blocks it. I try and go for another plus move. Like, this is, you see, 7 frames, +4, into another 7 frame move. He can poke mash out of it. And a poke is 7 frames as well. But the crouching animation begins so quickly, it will low profile. But the mid will jail. So yeah, Johnny is immune to this, but with most characters, this is such a stain, and such a pain. Because, why is that the case? Because poke mashing is so ridiculous in this game that some characters can't try and challenge back for their turn. If I, as a Johnny player, do something that's like, I'm looking for something that's like -5. Let me check. -5. There, -5. As Johnny did something that's -5. If you don't have a fast mid, I can just poke mash, and if you didn't poke at me, I will beat you. Because you need to poke in order to actually get your turn back. That is the problem with this game right now. The way it works is, if my opponent is doing a standing 1, and I just poke mash, I'm -5, but still, he can't punish me. He needs to poke back at me. So yeah, essentially this game is just so poke heavy, it's ridiculous, because to escape pressure you need to poke, because there's nothing else you can do. You can't attack back to escape pressure, because if you attack back and do a high, you just get smacked by a poke. And most characters in this game don't have mids like Johnny, that is 9 frames to steal back their turn. Like, Johnny can continue going with pressure because he can jail attacks into his mid. So he's immune to poke mashing basically, which makes him insanely broken since day 1. But for the other characters in this game, nobody has mids this fast. The second fastest mid in my opinion is like Homelander's forward 1, which is 11 frames, which is also insane. But even Homelander's forward 1 is prone to poke mashing. Everybody is. So yeah, the situation right now is you just need to do pokes to take back your turn when your opponent is minus, and you need to do pokes to keep going with pressure when you are plus. That is how it is right now. So pokes will beat both options, and pokes are the counter to both options. If my opponent poke mashes me in the middle of my pressure, and I want to keep my turn when I'm plus, I need to poke him back. Unless I'm Johnny, who just has a mid. So yeah, many characters are not even viable because of this, because they have terrible mids that are just insanely slow, and they can't deal with this. And then just the way I need to keep going with pressure when I'm plus is to poke. And what do I get from a poke? Nothing. Now, after a poke I'm plus 12. It doesn't really mean much because I can't start combos from this. And I'm just back to square 1. It's just, I do another block string, and then I just get poke mashed again. So, it's just so terrible to continue pressure with this. And then we get to the final point I want to talk about, which is the fact that some characters can abuse pokes beyond belief, because pokes are special cancelable, which is the second biggest issue in this game. Pokes being special cancelable on block, that is the second biggest issue. Because shit like this can happen. When you block a poke, which is -8, and it's supposed to be punishable, there you can see, either the poke, I block it, I punish him. A poke should be punishable by a poke, right? Which is already flawed, I can't punish it with anything else pretty much. I can take my turn back, but I can't punish. So yeah, when you take into equation the fact that pokes are special cancelable, you get bullshit beyond belief. Because now you've got characters that can do this. Let me just put him on close so I can actually record what I want to do. That is the biggest issue with Tanya, Baraka, Raiden, and I think we all know what I'm talking about, and you'll see right now. That is the issue. Now, when I'm attacking him, he's structured to do this. So as you can see, what he does here essentially is just steal back his turn for free. There is nothing I can do about it. There's no counterplay. He poke mash, he's got Goro on deck, now he just gets his turn back for free. And there is nothing I can do about it. Not even as the Johnny. As a Johnny, I'm mistiming the Goro, but as a Johnny I can stop the poke. But the thing that will happen is, when Tanya will do this, there's nothing you can do. That's why poke mashing is so broken with some characters, like Baraka, like Raiden, because these characters have special moves that have very, very high block stand. And that means they can cancel their poke into this and just use a safety cameo like Goro to stay plus. And then they just steal back their turn. Which just means there is no pressure in this game in actuality. Like, it's impossible to keep block pressure going for most characters. Some characters can bait you into doing a poke, like Ermac, like he does this, cancel back and then back too. He can bait out the poke, he can whiff punish your pokes. But most characters can't do that, which is why Johnny and Ermac are the only two characters that can actually keep pressure going in this game. Because Johnny is altogether just immune to the pokes, and Ermac can bait the pokes. So yeah, guys, this is the issues I wanted to talk about. These two things are really ruining this game, and these two things being like safe, abusable armor, and pokes being special cancelable on block. Because these two things mean there is no incentive to block in this game. Nobody needs to block, especially not Tanya players. Tanya players never block. And it's understandable, their armor is just beyond broken, and it's also cancelable when I poke them on block. So there's nothing that they can do. There's nothing you can do about it. I just, as a Tanya player, do this, and the game is over. You can't do anything. You see, he tries taking back his turn after he blocks the poke. He can't, because it's special cancelable. It leads to this nonsense. And then I steal back my turn for free. Unless he does this. but yeah, this is how it works right now. It's very, very poke heavy, and there's nothing you can do about it, because it is how it is. You can challenge a special move that is cancelled after a poke and block. You can challenge it, and that just means characters with special moves that have high block stun are just impossible to actually challenge. Because Baraka, for example, can do just this 2-1 that is -6 or something. Just throw out a random poke, and then just do this. So unless you're Johnny Cage, you can't even challenge your characters against you, which is why Johnny is so strong. But yeah, that's the issues I wanted to talk about. I feel like these two things are the most annoying things in this game right now. They keep the game very, very stale. You can't really get going with pressure in this game because a random armor can just come and ruin your entire groove, the entire thing you were getting going. And yeah, this is just the biggest issues in this game for me right now. Armor being so abusable, with this game having very fast meter game, and the fact that you can just abuse the pokes, because pokes just have no counter in this game, unless you're Johnny. So guys, thank you for watching. Let me know if you agree with me. Another issue I didn't mention is the fact that some moves shouldn't be armored, but they are. For example, Smoke CX Smoke Bomb, that has no risk. But pretty much, it leads to the same point. Armor shouldn't be safe at all, no matter what. And pokes shouldn't be possible to special cancel and block. You shouldn't be able to special cancel a poke and block. That just takes the entire point of pokes being -8 out of the equation, because there's nothing you can do to counteract that. They just poke mash and they get out of pressure for free, and there's nothing you can do. So yeah, very stupid, very annoying, and very boring. And as to how I'd fix it, it's very, very straightforward. For the pokes being special cancelable on block, I would just remove that. If I block your poke, it's not special cancelable. Very simple. My opponent does a poke, I block it, they can't special cancel anymore. So now they take a poke, a punish of a poke, I'm +12, I can get my offense going. So yeah, that if you did that, poke mashing wouldn't be as prominent as it is, because there would actually be risk to it. If I expect my opponent to poke, I make the read, I block, and then I punish his poke with a poke, and then boom, we're back to frame 1. So yeah, that would be much more healthy for the game. And as for safe armor, I would just remove the ability to use cameos, like after armor. If you do armor as a get up or reversal, which is how you use armor to get out of jail, like either on wake up or as a reversal in a gap in a string, you can't use your cameo until you finish recovering. What that means is, if I did this armor randomly, as a get up or a reversal, I will not be able to use Goro until this. Like, the moment I can go back to blocking. Until this moment right here, I can't summon Goro. Goro will not come. So if the Johnny blocked me when I did my armor as a reversal, so just as an example, let me do this. You know what, let me just do this. I'll do this and then I hold block, right? So I spammed armor, I can't summon Goro anymore. If we did this and just held block, made the read that I'm gonna armor, I can summon Goro until this moment happens. And by that time, I can get launched already. I will get punched in the face. So if you do that and just make cameos unavailable until armor recovery is finished, you don't have safe armor anymore. Except for Kung Lao, who just needs a nerf to make his armor -20 on block like every other armor. So guys, this is the issues I wanted to talk about. This really annoys me. Since day one it annoyed me, and it doesn't seem like they're gonna fix it anytime soon. And it just makes the game extremely boring and extremely annoying and repetitive, because pokes just beat everything right now. And armor is just completely risk-free. So yeah, very annoying. With Ferrite becomes even more prominent, because most armors will leave the ground, which means they are also safe. So yeah, very stupid, very annoying. I hope they fix it in a future patch, and I'll see you in the next one.